Hi, this is Rob from dmbalmanac.com with This Week in Dave Matthews Band History. It's the holiday season, and today it's about Christmas Song. The first confirmed performance was on December 21st, 1992 at the Bayou in Washington, D.C. There was no record of the show until the full show was released in the DMB Live series. We previously had it debuting at the Flood Zone on the 23rd. But it's also worth noting that there's some evidence of it debuting earlier. There was an old mixtape called Christmas 92 traded in the earliest days of the band. Most of the songs we can trace to shows and we have a tape to match, but there is a Christmas song that we can identify a date and is likely prior to the Bayou. You can find all the known performances of Christmas Song at dmbalmanac.com, where we never stop looking for information on older shows, and maybe one day we'll find its true debut. Follow us on Facebook to get daily updates with everything that happened that day in the band's history.
Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renee Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk exclusively about the fans of one band. If this is your very first time listening to this podcast, we talk about one band, and the one band that we talk about is the Dave Matthews Band. If you're unfamiliar with them, this is a great podcast to listen to because you're going to learn a lot of history, and here's how. Each episode of this podcast is a different fan of Dave Matthews Band telling you their journey with the band. And with the band turning 35 years old in 2026, there's a lot of history, there's a lot of stories, and there's a lot of fans. So each episode, of course, is a different fan, like I said. And so this episode is no different. I have a fan on the show to tell us his personal journey and how in the world he found Dave Matthews Band, and why in the world in 2026 are you still listening to a band that I hear often is called a band from the 90s, which it is true, but also it is a current band that never really stopped. And so, it's a crazy story. And that's, again, why this podcast is so much fun, is because we get a lot of background, and the fans have such a big story. I always say the fan story is 50% of the band, right? Because we cannot do it without the band, but the band has no success without fans, right? So it is a 50-50 story, and that's what I'm doing, is capturing this unique part of Dave Matthews Band. So let's get to it. Okay, I have a guest. Tell us, who in the world are you? Where do you live? And what do you do outside of music? Like, what's something that entertains you if we have to take music out of your life? Which we won't, and that would be terrible.
My name is Gary Wilkinson. I am from Rhode Island, and one thing without music, I like movies a lot. I like to watch movies. I guess that's
what
my
kind of
other thing.
movies do you gravitate to? Do you like it all, or do you like specifically like a genre?
I guess it depends. I like a lot of comedies, but I guess I like a lot of like artsy-fartsy.
Give me an example.
Probably the most pretentious movie I have on my shelf is The 400 Blows by Francois Truffaut.
Right. And as we all know, film is very much a form of art, right? So there's a rhyme and reason to the way the script was written. What is your favorite movie? Or can you nail that down?
It changes all the time,
Yeah,
it's always different. I mean, I've loved The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It was my favorite movie for a while. And like Pulp Fiction, I loved for like many years. I probably watched that movie like more than most other movies, but
we all have that one movie, though.
I also like Dumb and Dumber. I like that too. So
it's classic. Yeah. I feel like Dumb and Dumber was just part of us growing up, right? Because of the time frame that it came out.
Like, we grew up with them.
It was shocking.
Yeah.
Like what Jim Carrey did. Just like we had never seen anybody come in like so. Whatever awesome. That is, I love it.
Yeah.
I loved everything that he was in, and I think most of us fell in love with him and
I'm telling
are
you,
still
like,
in love with him.
well, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, like,
Yeah.
this is the world
Hell
that
yeah.
Dave Matthews Band, like, made it in, you know what I mean? It was just a wonderful time.
It is a wonderful time. So obviously we're going to talk about Dave Matthews Band. We're going to get to that, but we're going to get to know you pre Dave Matthews Band. Who in the world were you listening to before you found Dave Matthews Band? And what time frame was this that you really remember like getting into music?
I wasn't really listening to music like that. Like, my dad would always be playing like the Beatles when I was a little kid, so I always loved the Beatles. But I didn't go out and like listen to music until Dave, you know. My older sister had Under the Table and Dreaming, and I heard her listening to like Ants Marching and stuff, and that's when I was like, music is like cool. Like, I want to like listen to music, you know. So it was Dave. I was like 9 years old, maybe.
No way.
Yeah, it was
What was
awesome.
it that
It
you
was
liked?
awesome.
Was it just because it was around you, or was there a sound that you kind of tuned into?
I thought it was like I thought it was so cool that they had like a violin and a saxophone and like a rock band. You know
For
what I
real.
mean?
For real. Very
I
different.
didn't like. It's not like I knew like rock bands or anything, but like I wasn't like stupid. So like, you know, I knew that it was like usually just guitars and drums and stuff like that. So it was cool to see like horns and violins and all that kind of stuff, especially as a little kid.
So did you find many other friends your age that knew who Dave Matthews Band was, or was that kind of a thing that you just listened
like
to
pushed
at
it on
home?
everybody. I sort of pushed it on everybody.
You were just
I was like, dude, this is so awesome.
Oh my God. And did you ever find any takers, or was everybody like, get off of me with that
everybody,
Dave Matthews Band?
everybody bit. No, everybody bit.
Good,
you know,
good. Hopefully they're still listening. So
not
did
as much
you
as
grow up?
I do, but
No, not as much as you did, and we're gonna get to that. So, did you grow up in Rhode Island? Has that been home for you always, or?
Yep, Lincoln, Rhode Island. I moved around a little bit, but it's very small. You can get to
I hear about you on the often.
Yeah.
Do
It's like an
you know
hour
what the
long.
smallest state is? Yes, I do. It's Rhode Island. I know
Not a part
several
of New York.
fans of. I know several fans of Matthews Band that love, love the band, and I know them, and that was like the thing I remembered most more than anything was like people from Rhode Island. Like, I don't meet a lot of people from Rhode Island, and that's just because where we are geographically, there's not a lot of Rhode Islanders here.
No,
I don't think anybody transplants to Arkansas.
We're anchored to our
maybe,
state.
I don't know. I'm gonna come to Rhode Island one day, though. I don't. In the fall, I think it would be nice, right? Like in the fall.
It's
And
beautiful
you have
right
all the
now,
leaves and stuff. Yeah. I've always wanted to do like the coast and look at the leaves because I've heard about it my whole life. And while that happens here, of course, it's not quite what I see. The internet has presented itself like.
It's like a Halloween Disney movie over here when it's fall, you know, it's cool.
Yeah. So cool. So let's go back. So 9 years old, you found this music because of your sister. So you just start listening to it. How do you dig deeper? What was technology at that time? Were we into tapes or was it CDs or where were we?
Both. Well, I mean, it was CDs, but like I had tapes. Because you had to record stuff off the radio. You needed tape. I used to sneak into my sister's room and listen to Under the Table when she was at work and stuff.
No way.
And then I asked for, and then Crash came out the next year or whatever, and I asked for that on cassette. So I got a cassette of Crash, and then they did the Crashing the Quarter thing to like promote Crash on MTV.
Yeah.
And I recorded that, and I like wore the tape out. Like that was when I was like, I want to play guitar. I want to be just like this guy. I'm 10, 11 years old.
So were you even playing the guitar then? When did the guitar come into play?
A couple years later. Like there were always guitars in the house. Because my dad played. Yeah. But like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing for the longest time.
You got lessons or was that something that you were able to pick up at school?
No.
Or, like how did that work?
Me and one of my closest friends, Bobby, we were like super into Dave. And like we both kind of taught ourselves how to play. I remember thinking like how ridiculously impossible what would you say was. Like me and him were like, how do you even like do this? But we figured it out. We had like the guitar books and stuff. Didn't really have the internet at the time, so it was just listening and getting the music from music stores and stuff like that. Trying to pick together.
Do you think it's easier now to learn music versus trying to pick it up before the internet?
Oh yeah. Yeah, way more resources now. It's just like the internet alone, you know?
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen. I think one time I thought I was going to learn to play the ukulele, which newsflash, it didn't happen.
I thought
But
I
I
would
gave
too.
it a try. I was going to give it a try, and I got it. I got all the stuff, and I learned how to tune it. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to be like the Jack Johnson of Arkansas. Here we go. And it just didn't happen. It's not meant
Yeah,
to be. You just pick up a ukulele, and in my brain, I was like,
you just
no
start going, right?
lessons needed. Like, I think you could just play it however. That is not true. It does not. It sounds, but the sounds
Yeah,
are not good.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I have
So you
experience.
picked up some stuff on your own, and then fast forward, we know the future. We know that you are making a living doing that. So tell us the in-betweens. Like, how do you get from teaching yourself, like, along the way where there are people that jumped in and, like, here's a few things? Or were you just like 100%, I'm going to figure this out, and you did, and here we are now as far as your talent goes behind the guitar?
Yeah, that's 100% self-taught. Like, nobody ever showed me anything.
Wow.
It's crazy when I think about it now. But, like,
It's
yeah,
also
no,
like,
just
it's
emulating Dave,
amazing.
watching him play and stuff, and
Wow.
but yeah, I mean, I was brought up on, like, the Beatles and Dave Matthews, and, like, these are solid musicians, you know?
Yeah. But also, I know
Mm.
people are listening to this going, wow, first of all, that you could teach yourself to do that, because we know, or there may be fans that don't know this, but Dave, the style and in the way Dave plays the guitar is not necessarily the most practical way in playing guitar. And people would say that his skills are definitely different level, but also just like different thinking in the world of how you can play the guitar.
Yeah.
And did you kind of see that in other people as they were playing the guitar going, oh, wow, I just play that completely different, but we have the same sound?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What is going on, Space Between podcast listeners? This is David, drummer with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band, here to tell you about some of our upcoming tours to close out this year and to start the next. We are super stoked to be hitting the road December 26th through 30th for our Gamblers and Robbers New Year's Eve run to close out 2025. We're going to be playing some of our favorite venues around the Northeast for this mini tour, so we hope to see some of our usual faces there and newcomers to ring in the new year with us. Then, after a short break to start 2026, we're going to be hitting the road for the remainder of our Tomorrow We Die tour. This winter tour will feature dates in the Northeast and Midwest in January, with a run down to the Southeast and Florida in February. Moving on to March, the highlight will be going out west for usual stops in the Colorado area, but then this time making it all the way to California for 4 shows on the West Coast, which we could not be more excited for. Go ahead and grab your tickets at thedmtb.com, and we hope to see you on the road. Enjoy the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we would always call them Dave chords because they were just, like, weird. They were just, like,
Yeah.
weird. Apparently, they're Robert Fripp chords because Dave was super into King Crimson, and that dude Robert Fripp plays, like, all these crazy different inversions of chords and stuff, so that's where Dave picked it up, I was told. So that's cool because King Crimson's
That
pretty
is
sick.
really cool. You learned the hard way first. So if you were to later in the future go, okay, I'm going to break this down and play it traditionally, it may seem a little dumbed down for you. That would be my thought, at
Well,
least.
it'd be all like first position chords. It would sound weird. It would sound weird. If you didn't play it weird, it would sound weird.
So at what point do you get to the point where you're like, I feel really comfortable behind the guitar, like I would like to maybe show somebody and maybe play in front of people? How do you get brave and feel secure enough to get in front of people? Because that's hard. Was that something you struggled with?
No, not really. Not really. When did I play in front of people first? I guess it was like we had a variety show in our high school. And when I was a freshman, I like tried out and I was in the variety show and played. We do like 3 shows or whatever for like the town. And I guess that was like my first time like performing in front of people, and I was nervous as fuck.
I bet.
I remember I was singing The Who song. Yeah, and then after that, I wanted to like be in a band, so I formed a band with my friend in high school, and we played like classic rock songs and stuff. And we wrote music too. Actually, we wrote music when I was in high school. It was like
that's
we called
amazing.
ourselves the Groove Pot because we like to smoke.
The Groove Pot, I like that. Do you have any of those notebooks where you're writing shit down? I mean, I know it's so hard to keep up with things that we write down.
I don't even know if I have any other recordings.
Any pictures or videos of that time, because in that time frame, all that stuff was kind of like, did we have it? You know?
Yeah, it was like just the start of having the internet and stuff, you know?
I mean, how do you play the guitar and hold a big, the camcorders were like this big,
on your
shoulder, and you're like going around recording people. You are not playing a guitar and recording with one of those. You can have a tripod if you're fancy, but like, that's pretty fancy.
If you had the money. We did not have the money in high school.
That was not the life I lived. So, I mean, you performed one time and you're like, damn, that was amazing. I'm going to start a band. Yeah. And you just never stopped. And so what are the next steps? Like, what do you do? How long are you in the Groove Pot for? Like, is that just like high school?
Just high school. Well, it's just a high school thing, you know. And then when I was out of high school, I played drums in a band for a few years. We just did all originals. We were like...
So hold on just a second. When did you have time to learn the drums?
I had a drum set at my house. I just had a drum set at my house. So
you just had a whole band at your house, and you're just like picking. This week I'm going to learn this, and next week this. Damn.
But
okay.
That was because of Dave too. Well, kind of because of Dave. Because Carter's.
So right, that's amazing. You can play more than one instrument.
Yeah, well, I think that movie, there's a movie called That Thing You Do. I think that inspired me to play drums. It's like a movie about this wonder band and the main guy plays drums. I was like, I want to play drums too. I get inspired by the crap I see.
Any other hidden instruments that you play?
Nah.
You gonna break out the flute anytime soon?
I can make a sound come out of the flute, but I can't make a sound.
So can I.
Yeah, here we go.
I will never be paid for that, but I can play it.
We could do a flute duet.
Yeah, I can play the spoons really well, but no one is paying me money for this.
Yeah, same. I'll be
Come on, if there's ever that opportunity, call me if you need a spoon player. I don't think that opportunity is going to knock on the door anytime.
It might. You never know.
You never know. Still got a long future.
Modern music.
I never know. It's like a sound that everyone's been waiting for and didn't know, and they're hearing this going, that's exactly what we need.
Wait a
Call
minute.
me.
It's so awesome.
It's the spoons, motherfucker. Okay, so let's go back to you. So I'm just envisioning, okay, you're getting out of high school, that band's over. You're like playing the drums now. What's next, dude? I'm intrigued.
I played drums for a little while, and then that band stopped, and I was like, well, I guess I don't play music anymore. So I didn't play music for a couple of years, and then I was like, maybe I'll play Dave. I'm going to play some Dave. I'm just going to play some Dave,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Because did you go back home in that season of not playing music? Obviously, you were still listening to music, right?
Yeah. I was listening to a lot of music when I wasn't playing. Yeah.
Yeah. Was some of that Dave, or was that something that you truly got away from for a couple of years?
No, no, I was still pretty obsessed with Dave. This was like 2016-ish, 2017-ish. This was when like they came out with like Black and Bluebird and stuff. They played that Letterman show. Yeah. I think it was like the Letterman's last thing or whatever. And they had Black and Bluebird. I remember being like, oh, this song is fucking awesome. So yeah, I mean, I was still listening to Dave too, but maybe not as obsessive as I was when I was younger.
But it came back. I know it did.
Yeah.
Sometimes Dave comes in waves. And I like to remind people that we are going to use the word Dave a lot. And when we say Dave on this show, we use it as a collective term. Dave Matthews Band. It's just easier to say Dave. And so for those of you that are listening, I always like to go, hey, like we are not just calling out Dave Matthews, like we're calling out the whole band, but it is easier when we are talking about it over and over just to say Dave. So I like to always clarify that. So what opportunity knocked on the door those 3 years later that was like, okay, I guess I'm getting back into music?
I guess I just decided I felt like it. It was like time.
Yeah.
So on Craigslist, I was looking on Craigslist, I guess, and somebody wanted to start a Dave tribute. So I hit him up, and we played a little Dave for a little while, and then
That's awesome.
I joined DMTB after that.
The first time you get on Craigslist to look for some work in music, there just happens to be a post for a band, a tribute band of a band that you hold dearly in your heart. It was kind of like a sign. I don't know if you felt that way, but knowing the future like helps us see that like, damn, that was like on the money right there waiting for me right at the right time with the right music, doing something I love. And you are able to do. So you have to answer this Craigslist ad. Now, we all hear about Craigslist now and we're like, they're the psycho killers are on Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where you go to get murdered. Obviously it didn't turn out that way for you, but were you a little like, who's putting this ad out? Like, what are you about? Where are you at? Like, how did you get an answer and what were your questions?
I was like, oh yeah, you played. It was a drummer, this guy Kyle, and he wanted to play Dave. He was in I think he was in a Fish tribute at the time, and he wanted to play Dave. And I was like, oh yeah, I know Dave's songs. We should play. And he was like, yeah, let's do that. So I went to his house one Sunday, I think it was, and like we just played through some Dave songs, and I was like, this is great. And we started a band. It was called the DMB Project. I think they're still playing. They play in Rhode Island. I sent them some demos of me playing like Spoon and I can't remember what other songs, but a couple other songs.
So how did you then find Dave Matthews Tribute Band? So
yeah, they hit me up on. They saw one of the DMB Project videos on YouTube of me doing. I think it was me doing Fool to Think solo. So they asked me if I would like to try playing a show with them in New Hampshire. So I went and played, and it was awesome. And yeah, and that was it.
You're all over the country. How was it to start doing that? Because that's not a lifestyle that you necessarily knew. How was that for you?
It was kind of crazy because I'm from Rhode Island. So like a long drive for me is an hour. An hour is like super long, or was. But then I joined up with these guys. We were driving like 7 hours. I'm driving 7 hours to Buffalo and then another like 3 somewhere into Ohio. And we're doing this like all the time. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But you get used to it pretty quick, and like playing shows is fun. So, it's always what I wanted to do.
Okay. So we don't talk about this side of music, but for those that don't know, like what makes you guys successful? What do you have to have in order to be successful? I mean, ticket sales. Ticket sales. We've talked about that in this podcast. There's a 50-50 in a band. Percent of everything is the music and the bands and everything that goes on in that side of the world. And then there's the other side. If we're not showing up to see bands, they have no money to get on stage to do it for you, right? And so I know that you guys are doing really well, but also looking for growth in that department, right? The more ticket sales, the more people that come out and check you out, the more cities you guys can hit. You guys are still in a van, hauling your own shit. Like you're loading in, you're loading out, you're driving in, you're driving out, you're doing all the things, Gary. So you guys are super busy. I don't know. When I think about all of that, that is so mind-boggling because it's just a whole different side that we don't think of in the fan world. The work that you have to put in, it's a hard job. And I don't want to discount that. Being a musician, especially where you guys are right now, is a really hard job.
Yeah, especially on the longer runs, after we get home, after a few weeks on the road, I'm just asleep for like 2 or 3 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get drained. It's really the loading out. It's the loading out after the show.
No,
we're loading up the trailer to get ready to drive out of there.
You guys give it your all. I can say, and we'll talk about how we've met really quickly. We met, and I'm trying to think, the very first time I ever met you, I mean, I just can't remember a time before Dave Matthews Tribute Band. Is that right? Is that how we met?
Yeah. It was in that.
So. I think that
I was in the RV.
it was in Springfield.
First, or me, or maybe David first. I can't remember.
I think I just sent a Facebook message to
the DMTV.
Whoever checks the messages, and was just, and this was in the infancy of the podcast, because I think that this is early spring 2023, and I had just started the podcast November 2022, so no one had heard of it, right? Like no one knew who anything this podcast was, and I just show up in Springfield, Missouri, and I'm like, "Hey guys, I want to interview you for this podcast that you've never heard of." And you let me do it.
We were like, "This is so sick, dude." We're like, "Hell yeah,
you let me do it," and I look back at that video, and I mean, now I see so much growth in you guys. But yeah, that's where we first met. And the one thing that I've never got to do with you that is like a goal for me in the future somewhere is to go to a Dave show with you, a Dave Matthews Band show. I know that you love the band, of course, and just why would you not? Obviously, if you're in a tribute band, you love the music. So, and the original is still playing. We're going into 35 years. So we got to catch them while we can, right? Because at 35 years, we're like, how much longer are we going to go to 40? Like, are we going to 45? I don't know. Like, what's happening here? So I want to catch a show with you one day. I want to catch a show with you, but I know that's got to be tricky as far as your schedule goes with just being on the road. Yeah, when do you find that is kind of your season, or does it change every year? Like when you can go to a Dave show?
So yeah, lately since we've been doing this band, it's just been whatever ones I could go to, which have been Guilford in these past years because they're on weekdays.
Okay.
But my home venue used to be SPAC. I used to go to SPAC every year. But I haven't been in a few years because it's always the weekend and I'm always playing somewhere.
It is. SPAC is, that's a really cool venue to call your home venue.
Yeah.
It's magical. I've only been once, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. Another reason why I started playing Dave was the post-SPAC depression after going to SPAC and being depressed that it was over. I was like, man, if we just played Dave, I would have way less post-SPAC depression. So that was another part of it.
Dave depression is a whole real thing, and for everybody. And for those of you that have never heard that word before, we call it Dave depression because it's like that sad feeling that you get in your gut after the show, and you are probably not going to get another show for a while, if at all, the rest of or if ever, right? Like it's just that feeling of being sad because you were up, you were high, you were. And I'm talking about in your head, you were feeling at a Dave Matthews Band show, you're feeling your best, right? Like if you're there and then to just be kind of let go really quickly, bye, and then it's over.
Yeah, imagine you're a little kid and it's Christmas Day and you get all your presents and then the next day you don't have anything. That's the post.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's like I had this whole day full of treasures and wonderful presents, and then the next day, everyone's gone and no one loves me anymore. The music is gone.
Well, now I got to go back to work.
Damn it!
Yep.
That may be a very.
I got to go to work. No
the
Dave.
Only medicine for that is more Dave. So I want to go to a show with you. So that's going to be maybe 2026. We're going to fit that in because I'm always looking to go to new venue. 2026 is 35-year anniversary. So I cannot in any way believe that there won't be something big. They can't just go through 35 years without celebrating it. Life is a tricky thing. And so celebrate we will now while we have it, because who knows what the future is. I don't know. But what I do know is Dave Matthews Tribute Band is far from being done. And I like to mention that because we're in this Dave season where there is no Dave, you guys as a band have been such a, it's just this is my woo-woo thinking, but I'm just going to say it. It just feels like home. I don't know how to say it other than there's just that feeling, the way you guys present it, and just, I don't know, everything about it. It just feels like home from the moment you get there. And so I don't know how better to describe that.
That's so nice
because,
of you to say.
Yes, I didn't know how to phrase that.
Well,
but
it's
that's what it feels
like the most important thing is to like channel the spirit of how you feel when you go to Dave, for me at least, when we play. So
Yeah.
when you say it feels like
Yeah.
home, that's thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Right.
That's the way I feel. I've just felt so happy about having an opportunity to get together with the people that love the things that they love, right? Which is the sound of the music of Dave Matthews Band. And, just so many personal friends, so many new friends have found you guys. I can't stop talking about you guys because of the way I feel about you guys. And I think that you guys provide us so many more opportunities. Can you talk a little bit about what the band tries to capture as far as the sound?
We're pretty much like these to early 2000s, Dave, we're just a 5-piece unless our keyboard player is with us, Zach. And then, maybe we could get into a little more of the later 2000s stuff. But as a 5-piece, we keep it to mostly the 90s. That's my favorite Dave too, is back in the 90s when they ruled the world, you know what I mean?
Right, for sure.
And they just had that sound. They just had that sound that was freaking awesome. I don't know. I love it.
If you're listening to this, just know that you can watch this and see Gary's face. You can see my face. Watch us as we try to get through this, right? Always making weird faces at Gary. So you can watch it on YouTube. It's simply under the Space Between podcasts. You can watch all of them. There's almost 200 episodes out. And that means almost 200 fans of Dave Matthews Band have reported their journey, their personal journey, right here for you to listen to. I'm getting the flip side story of history in this era of music. And so that's what we're doing with these stories. Current Dave has a keyboard player, right? But it hasn't always been Buddy. So let's rewind time. And we're going to go back to 1998. And we're going to talk about the time frame from 1998 to 2008. Those are special years because there was someone that joined the band that was not part of the original. His name was Butch Taylor. If you've never heard that name before, I invite you to Google him. He's an important name that you need to know about when we're talking about the history. So we've got some few years where it was just the original 5-piece. And that's where you guys are kind of focusing. So if we go from 91 to 98, we've got a certain sound. We've got that heavy fiddle. We're strong on that. We're developing a sound, right? And I think you guys do such a good job of harnessing that sound. I've heard so many people in the crowd as I'm just listening to people talk because they don't know that I have a podcast and are going to say what they're saying. They don't have a clue that I'm listening, right? But what I'm hearing is just these awesome things of oh, I can just close my eyes and I am back to college, or I can close my eyes and it's just like I've been transported back in time. And that is everything one could want to hear, is that you're giving them that sense of youth maybe, or that sense of just whatever was happening. You're giving them a genuine feeling. What a great opportunity to go and at least hear what it kind of sounded like. Because yes, we have all of the live stuff recorded, but this is to actually physically be in the room and to hear it. Is just, we all know it's so very different. So what a great way to hear the original sounds of this band. I think it's so cool to dig into the history of this band because there's just so much, and it has really changed so much in 35 years. As everything, we're completely different than we were 35 years ago. I was 11 again. We are fans that were just not there from the beginning because time was not on our side, right? And there are still so many fans that have just not had time on their side, and they're now finding the music. I met a guy that now loves The Gorge. The Gorge was his very first show, and he had just found the band 3 years ago. 3 years ago, and went to The Gorge for the very first time to ever see them, hear them live. And he is all in now. All in. Tries to see them as much as possible, listen to them. And he loves it because it's such a rabbit hole, right? Once you're in, if you want to know a little bit more, there are tunnels everywhere that you can go down and just learn so much more than you want to. And unless you just like that stuff, there's just so much out there. And the fans, they study their shit. They know. I mean, they know their stuff. So I think that, like I said, I think what you're doing is so incredibly smart and honestly so incredibly important. And here's why. Again, just the documenting this time, right? And that is essentially, in a way, what you guys are continuing to do in a different way, but you're documenting that time. That's what a tribute is, right? You're documenting a certain time period in a band's life, and that's exactly what you guys are doing. And so thank you so much for being willing to share your talents with us, because it is making a difference, whether you've ever thought about that or not. Like, it's really making a difference in people's lives. You're giving them some good feelings when they need those good feelings, because we know music has that power to just lift us up when we're down. And you guys are providing that source of strength. And so thank you so much for what you do. And thank you so much for just being willing to hop on here. And I hope you found a little comfortability in knowing, like, okay, well, at least I know her, because most people get on the show and they have never met me or ever talked to me. So that can be, but you did great.
Yeah,
we already knew each other.
We're already boys, so.
Yes. So thank you so much. And guys, if you want to check out Dave Matthews Tribute Band, you have got to just simply go to the dmtb.com. You're going to find links to their upcoming tour, their current tour, because you guys are still on the road. You're basically on the road forever more.
Yep.
That you might get a few days off in between, but like pretty much forever. You're going to find them somewhere in the United States. Hey, and they've played outside of the United States, because guess what? If you didn't know this, like, you can actually hire them to do a gig. So if you've ever dreamed of having Dave Matthews Band at your house, but you can't afford them, like, because I think it costs in the millions of dollars to even maybe get one. I don't even know about the whole band.
Yeah, right.
You can book the Dave Matthews Tribute Band, and they will reminisce with you in your backyard the early days of Dave Matthews Band, and it will be a lot cheaper than millions of dollars. So, hey, give them a call. Look at their website, man. Call them. They're ready to go wherever. Y'all got to go to somewhere pretty cool. Where did you get to go?
St. Bart's.
Who turns that down? You're like,
St. Bart's,
I'll be there tomorrow.
Insane.
Yes, we want to be there to help you celebrate your anniversary. Do you want to give your wife, the best gift?
She's a Dave fan.
Dave Matthews Tribute Band.
She doesn't think I suck. It'll be awesome.
It's all about the ticket sales. But also, Gary, just thank you so much. Yes.
Well,
let's buy some tickets. You guys have a lot of things coming up, so stay tuned. Be sure to like them on all the socials. They can be found everywhere. I know that you guys are also starting up. You've been on TikTok, you've been on Snapchat, you've been all those things. They've been a little dormant, so I know y'all are kicking those up. So be sure to hit up all their socials, because there's different things on all of the socials. And next time you're at a show, tell Gary, hey, man, I know about you because I saw you on the Space Between podcast. Gary wants to know this. Definitely walk up to him, say, hey, I heard about you guys from the show. And, just, that's my bro. That's my bro, man. So you got to tell my bro hi if you're there and you're listening to the show, right? That's how this works. Yep. Gary, thank you so much, guys. Again, if you're listening to this on any podcast app, just know that you can watch this on YouTube, just simply under the Space Between podcast. And while you're there, subscribe to the channel. That's going to give you a notification every time a new episode comes out. And you can do the very same thing on your podcast app, just simply by leaving a review. You can give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars to this podcast and just tell us, hey, what do you like about the show? Until the next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band.
Hey, this is Carolyn, the founder and CEO of the nonprofit safeinharmsway.org. It's an honor to be part of the Space Between podcast family, and very thankful to Renee for offering us time to talk about how people can show up for themselves or someone they love who is experiencing violence in relationships. It's a scary time in our country for people experiencing violence. 80% of the shelters in the United States are closing down due to drastic cuts from the federal government. So shelters are closing their doors and hotline calls are left unanswered. But at Safe in Harm's Way, we're launching a new initiative. We were made for this moment, and we're solving the crisis with a brand new campaign called TheLastI'mSorry.com. TheLastI'mSorry.com is a mobile-friendly site that features an interactive platform allowing for any person to identify exactly what they're experiencing and then get 2 immediate and actionable solutions based on the visitor's situation. It's built to be fast, private, and easy to exit because we recognize the danger that survivors may face just by searching for help. SafeInHarmsWay.org believes every person should have the opportunity to find unique help for their safety needs. And that's why TheLastI'mSorry.com was built for men, women, people of color, the queer community, immigrants, and medically compromised people. So check out the show notes. Save the solutions, share the resources, and save a life today.